Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to look at some of the things that we do, that we all do, that don't work. As we're trying to address the conflicts that arise in our lives in a more effective way, we sometimes get really disappointed, really discouraged, because it looks like nothing is going to work here. And in fact, we're pretty good at making things not work. As humans, we're amazingly creative at being self-destructive. So there are many, many things that we do. There's a kind of probably infinite variety of things we do that don't work. But just to try to simplify it, just to try to get it down to a place where we can say, okay, what is it? Will this work? You know? We've been able to identify that there are 4 things that are sort of the larger category. These are the things that don't work. And so we're going to work on being able to identify each of these as we're trying new things in addressing conflict and saying, nope, that one's not going to work. That's ignoring it. Or that's fighting about it. Or that's trying to get somebody else to change. Or that's being centered in them. So we're just going to take a moment here to look more closely at how each of these different ones work. That is, how do they show up in our lives? Now, you've certainly had the experience of having something come up and you've said, it's not that big a deal. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to, brush it off, ignore it, like water off a duck's back. Don't trip off of that. Right? Now, in some cases, it really is a good idea to not get carried away and make a big deal out of something that's no big deal. But the problem is when something is a big deal and we don't name it, we just kind of set it aside, then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until we blow up. That doesn't work for us. It is a good idea from time to time to notice when we have an impulse to say something, to say, oops, wait a minute. WAIT, W-A-I-T, is actually an acronym. It stands for Why Am I Talking? If I'm not really clear about what it is that I need, I shouldn't be saying anything. But I should be getting ready for the time when I can say something. Pushing it aside, saying I'm never ever going to come back to this again, it's just gone forever. That's not actually going to create what it is that we need. Okay? So I don't want to talk, I need to be able to address it, but I want to do it in such a way that I'm not picking a fight. So the second major category is doing things that make other people lose. As soon as I'm trying to make somebody else lose, then, well, shouldn't we try to make others lose? That's what games are about. When you're playing a game with somebody, you're trying to win. You try to win by making them lose. This is certainly the issue that we do in sports. And anytime you're engaged in any kind of legal issue, you're taking somebody to court, they're taking you to court, it's basically about trying to make the other guy lose. The best that we can do in a really good divorce is lose equally, so that nobody's getting over on somebody else. So, trying to make somebody lose is something that's a fairly normal part of human life. It is certainly a huge part of our political process. We see the political parties going after each other all the time, and whether we're trying to pass legislation or whether we're trying to get elected, we do it by getting more votes than our opponent. So there's going to be a ballot, and I'm going to try to make the other person lose so that I can win. That's what politics is basically about. So if we do that, if we're engaged in having issues with others, when we have issues with others, what we're going to do is we're going to make them lose. They're going to respond to us by trying to make us lose. And sure enough, we both lose. We get into a fight. Right? Now, if you get into that situation, when you get into that situation, because we all do this, we get stuck. We're in this situation where we're pushing against each other. What we need to do instead is to let go, like with the Chinese finger puzzle. We go against the grain. We make space for something new to arise. Okay, so we're not going to ignore it. We're not going to fight about it. We are going to do something that's going to work, but the third major category is we try to make other people change. Now, why wouldn't I try to make other people change? If I'm having an issue with you, and I'm really concerned about your well-being, if you would just do what I want you to do, I'm a nice guy. I know what's supposed to be done. Just do what I want you to do, and then we won't have a problem here. Now, there certainly are situations in which we do have the responsibility to control other people's behavior. If I'm your boss, if I'm your dad, then I'm supposed to be able to get you to do what I want you to do. If I'm a salesman, if I'm trying to close the deal here, then I ought to be able to get you to do what I want you to do. If you're my kid, then I should be able to get you to clean your room. So we think it's appropriate for us to get other people to change. In some cases it is. But oftentimes it is not. And if I'm trying to get you to change, even if the way I want you to be different is something that's going to be good for you, even if the way I want you to be different is a way of being you would really like, the very fact that I'm trying to get you to do it is going to cause you to pull back. It will engender resistance in you because you don't want to be dominated by me. So the harder I try to get other people to change, the more they're going to resist changing. Now, most of us know that we really can't change other people. We really can't alter their decisions. This knowledge does not stop us from trying. Well, the fourth thing that we do, and this is actually the most difficult thing of all, is that we will decide to take the moral high ground. Because, I don't want to be I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to be self-centered. So in order to make clear that I am not self-centered, I'm going to fight against that impulse. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be centered in others. I'll take care of them. I know what you need. I'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. I'll function for you. But if I'm doing that, or to the degree to which I'm doing that, I'm not paying attention to what it is that I need. And I may even say, well, I don't need anything, I'm fine. But that, of course, isn't true. I do have needs, and if I'm not paying attention to me, I'm busy taking care of others. For one thing, I don't actually know what other people need. I think I know what I think they need, but I'm not getting what I need, so I'm operating suboptimally. And if I'm not getting what I need, but you're getting what you need, I'm going to begin at some point to say, hey, bring some of this back here. You should be taking care of me. At which point you're likely to feel manipulated by me, and you're going to see me as selfish and self-centered, which was exactly the thing that I was trying to avoid. Now, this is so ingrained in us that whenever we fly on a commercial airline and we're on our way, we're taxiing out, the flight attendant gets up and says, here's how a seatbelt works, and here's where the wing exits are. And in the unlikely event of a sudden drop in cabin pressure, a mask will drop in front of you, put it over your nose and mouth, breathe normally. If you are traveling with small children or those who need assistance, what do they say? Put your own mask on first. And why would they say that? Well, for one thing, they know that everybody's impulse, most people's impulse, is going to be to take care of others first. And if we do that without enough oxygen, we can quickly get confused. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't help you. Neither one of us gets what we need. If I take care of myself, I'm getting oxygen, now I'm getting what I need, now I can be there for somebody else. So what we discover here is that the opposite of being self-centered is not being other-centered. The opposite of being self-centered is being centered in myself. When I know who I am, I know what it is that I need, I'm able to act on my own behalf with power and effectiveness such that I create the qualities that are missing for me in our relationship. Because they're missing for you too. So if I'm creating what I actually need, as opposed to what it is that I want, that's a very important distinction that we will work on making. But when I'm creating the qualities that I need, you also get what you need. When we do that, everybody wins. And then the conflict becomes an occasion by which we can create justice. It's just conflict. Okay, next we're going to move into a consideration of the broader understanding of what conflict is and what it means to resolve it. So we'll be back in a few more lessons and give you another video. Thanks for coming along.